Alright my pieces, this is a prediction game video for Big Show versus Sheamus for the World Heavyweight Championship in a chairs match. This is my simulation, this is my prediction. I'll go into more detail on why I think Big Show is going to win this matchup, although I do think this matchup really could go either way. Either one of these guys could win the matchup, but I think there's a slight chance, or slighter chance, or what am I talking about? Not a slighter chance, that doesn't make any sense. What I'm trying to say is that I think Big Show has a bigger chance at winning, but not by much. But I think he still has a bigger chance at winning. So I'll go into that. But first of all, this isn't actually a chairs match in the video game. This is just a normal match, and I put this qualification off. So I just use steel chairs. When you put this qualification off, basically the only weapons you can use are the steel chairs on both ends of the ring, and on the other ends of the ring you can actually use a sledgehammer, but I didn't use that in the matchup to keep it as realistic as possible and just stick to the steel chairs, since, you know, on the pay-per-view TLC they'll only be using steel chairs. So yeah, there's not actually a chairs match in the video game, just in case anybody was wondering, or was like, oh, there's actually a steel chair match in the game. Let me go check. You'll be checking for a while because there is no chairs match. And really, I don't see the point in a chairs match. Seriously, I want to talk about this for a short while here. What is the point of a chairs match? It's like, in my opinion, it's like the dumbest match ever. Chairs match, come on. Why not just make it no disqualification? It's like, you know, you could use weapons, but the only weapon you can use is a steel chair. Why not use any other weapons? It's a weird concept, and on top of that, you would think, you know, a steel chairs match would be, you know, no disqualification, since when you use a steel chair in a regular match, you get disqualified. But in this match, you can use steel chairs, so, you know, you would just imagine that, hey, you could probably do other things that usually get you disqualified. But at TLC 2009, they had Taker versus Batista in a chairs match. And in that matchup, Batista, at some point, the referee was like, he was down, or he was distracted or something, and Batista took advantage of that. Yes, he actually took advantage of that, you know, despite the match being a chairs match. He actually had to take advantage of the ref being... Okay, for some reason somebody's calling me. I don't even know what number this is. Anyways, I'm gonna ignore this. So, back to what I was saying. Batista had to take advantage of the referee being out or distracted to low blow The Undertaker. So he low blows The Undertaker, and then he pins him and wins the world title, or so you think. But then Teddy Long comes out and reverses the decision, or restarts the matchup, because Batista low blowed The Undertaker. Which makes no sense. It's a freaking chairs match, and you get disqualified for low blowing somebody? I mean, you could hit them with a steel chair, but you can't low blow them. It's just, to me, it doesn't make sense. I don't like the chairs match concept. A tables match, yeah, that's cool, you know. As far as I know, in a tables match, you can use other weapons. You can low blow people. And a chairs match, you don't win by pinfall or submission. You actually have to put somebody through a table. So a match like a tables match, you know, weapon-specific matchup, like a tables match is perfectly fine. A ladder match too, since it's a unique matchup where you have to climb up the ladder and grab something on top, whether it be a championship or a Money in the Bank briefcase or whatever it is. Which, by the way, also the TLC match, you know, this year, I don't know, I don't really get the points. It's pretty much just an Extreme Rules match if you ask me, since you can only win by pinfall or submission. But anyways, I've, you know, used up 4 minutes of this video to talk about match stipulation. So yeah, it is a chairs match. Oh yeah, and one last thing, I did notice that when it comes to the chairs matches, like 95% of the time, they always use the chairs matches for the bigger guys. So yeah, just an observation there. So Big Show versus Sheamus. You know, like I said in the official prediction game video, I think Big Show's gonna win the matchup, but I could see both guys winning. And you know, so far I've been really liking the matches. Everything in between the matches, though, like the segments and promos, not so much. It's not like I'm tuning into Raw or SmackDown just to watch Big Show and Sheamus, you know, what are they gonna do next? Not really, you know, but the matches themselves, like the matches, really like the first one. That was an awesome match in my opinion. And what makes it, you know, even like better matches in my opinion is that really a lot of us just didn't expect the match to deliver. We probably thought the match was gonna suck or was gonna be nothing special, you know, especially after Sheamus, you know, had just finished off a feud with Del Rio. But anyways, the feud actually began at Hell in a Cell. Well, not exactly at Hell in a Cell, but the first match took place at Hell in a Cell, with the feud obviously starting before in a Cell so they could actually announce the matchup and have the match. And, you know, I guess the storyline leading up to Hell in a Cell was that, you know, Sheamus couldn't connect with the bro kick on the Big Show because Big Show was like too tall and Sheamus' foot wouldn't reach the Big Show. Although in the past, like a couple years ago, maybe 2 years ago, I'm not too sure, Sheamus did in fact hit the bro kick on the Big Show. So yeah, leading up to, you know, their first match, they were talking about that a lot, and they compared the WMD Big Show's knockout punch with Sheamus' bro kick, with actually both of them testing the strength of their finishers, and Big Show actually won the test of strength. And then come time for the matchup, I personally thought it was just going to be, you know, just a typical title defense with Sheamus retaining and still being the champion, and then maybe having one more rematch with the Big Show and moving on with moving on to somebody else. But Big Show actually surprises me, and he wins the matchup. He freaking hits a knockout punch on Sheamus, not once, but twice. I thought after the first time he was going to get the victory, since nobody's ever kicked out of the WMD until, you know, Sheamus. And then he hits actually, you know, after Sheamus kicked out of the first one, I thought, okay, maybe Sheamus gets the victory after the bro kick, but actually Big Show kicks out of the bro kick too. So then it's like, oh shit, what's going to happen here? You know, both these guys have kicked out of these finishers, which usually people don't kick out of. And then Big Show actually connected with a second WMD as Sheamus went for a second bro kick, and Big Show became the new World Heavyweight Champion. Now after that happened, I was thinking, okay, Sheamus might retain the championship in their second fight, their second match. So their second match was announced for Survivor Series, so I was thinking, okay, I'm pretty sure Sheamus gets back his championship here so he can prove, you know, the face can prove that he can beat the big giant, you know, the Big Show. And then come time for, you know, Survivor Series, we have the matchup. It's another great match, but Sheamus actually doesn't win. Well, actually, he does win the match. He wins the match, but he doesn't win the World Heavyweight Championship because he wins the match by disqualification. So Big Show's still the champion. Now, the reason why I thought Sheamus was going to win the match and win the world title was because usually when a guy wins the championship, usually when the champion loses his title, he gets a rematch clause. So I always keep that in mind when making my predictions. So Survivor Series was their second matchup. You know, usually feuds end after maximum 3, you know, one-on-one matchups. So I was thinking, okay, Sheamus wins the match at Survivor Series, and then Big Show, you know, since he gets a rematch clause, he gets one more match against Sheamus at TLC, with Sheamus now being the world champion, and Sheamus beats him and retains the championship, and then he's done with the Big Show and moves on to another opponent. Because I was pretty sure that this whole thing was a distraction, you know, Big Show winning the world title, just a, you know, slight change in titles, but Sheamus would, you know, regain it back from the Big Show. But after, you know, after TLC, not after TLC, after Survivor Series, and, you know, these past couple of weeks, I'm thinking maybe this isn't, you know, like a quick title change where, you know, the champion or the former champion gets his title back pretty soon, or, you know, the next pay-per-view or whatever. I actually think they might have the Big Show actually have a decent, you know, title reign, hold the title for at least, I don't know, 2-3 months or whatever until WrestleMania, and not actually have just a you know, a 1 pay-per-view or 2 pay-per-view title reign. So yeah, that's pretty much the reasoning why I think Big Show's gonna win. I just think, you know, he's going to hold on to that championship for you know, until WrestleMania, where I think he's going to face Ryback for the championship. And another reason is, if Sheamus were to win this match at TLC and win the world title, not by disqualification, what if the same thing happens as the 09 chairs match, where like Big Show low blows Sheamus, or Sheamus low blows Big Show, and there's a disqualification. Anyways, yeah, if Sheamus were to win this match, then that means Big Show gets a rematch clause, and that means a 4th match between these guys. But if Big Show wins, then that's pretty much it for the feud, since Sheamus really shouldn't be entitled to another rematch. So yeah, my pick is still the Big Show. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, as always, you can click that like button. I'd really appreciate it. With that said, I'm out, guys. See ya.